live, Guardo? Oh no, we're just doing this anyway. If you're joining, or if you're ever gonna join, whatever. I'm just talking to myself right now. Nobody's here, but I wanted to go over, and people that hop on can, you can check this video out later. It's all good. It's all good. I love you anyway. Thank you for showing up when you do. But I wanted to get my thoughts out here when it comes to Saul Canelo Alvarez. And the one thing that I noticed, or the big thing with Saul anymore, it seems like, yeah, he's stepping up in weight and he's conquering these different classes, but it almost seems like he's trying to duck some of the far more dangerous fighters. All right? Now, with Triple G's getting old, man. That dude's getting close to 40, so I can see why maybe he's like, I don't really need to fight that dude anymore. But there are fighters in that middleweight division that I think personally he definitely needs to give a shot to, or to actually fight. And as we're looking at that, we have fighters that are coming up, or that I believe would be more deserving of a fight against a Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, Alvarez is going out, and he is his last couple fights just haven't been what you would say is like, oh wow, this is great. Now the Callum Smith fight, okay, but that dude was kind of more tailored toward Alvarez's abilities and stuff. So yeah, I'll give him credit for fighting Callum Smith, but he's not that danger. There's no danger there. When you look and see his last fight over Avni Yildirim, again, here's a fighter that is only around that 50% KL. Every top fighter that Avni Yildirim fought, he lost to. He had those losses on his record. You look at Avni Yildirim, and the two fighters, well, obviously three fighters now that he lost to. You had Chris Eubank Jr., who starched him out flat. And then you had Anthony Durrell, who was beating him. And he also had, Durrell had that really bad cut over his eye. So when you start looking at that, okay, this guy really fought a lot of bums, and then he fought two good fighters, and he lost to both of them. And that's who Saul Alvarez fought. It's kind of like a trash fight right there. Like, why are you giving this guy a shot when he really didn't have it? Is he starting to go into that, like, Joe Louis bum of the month club where he fights fighters that he just knows? He's not. I mean, is there a contract thing where he has to fight a certain amount of fights to get out of that contract? So he takes these junk fights, to set something up better. Like, he went up to light heavy, I believe it was, when he fought Sergey Kovalev. But we also said Sergey Kovalev was spoon-fed. He was perfect fight for a fighter like Saul Alvarez. But then now Saul Alvarez is going, and he beat Callum Smith, who's, I believe, the number 2 in the super middleweight. Now he's going for the number 3 in Billy Joe Saunders. And Billy Joe Saunders, you look at Billy Joe Saunders, and you're like, okay, he's held the WBO World Super Middleweight title, or he's got it, because he hasn't lost yet. And you're looking at him, and he's 46% knockout ratio, which not that good when you're a super middleweight. Okay, letting you know, you look at all the greats that were in super middleweight, and they're well over above the 50% threshold. I would like you to go out there, if I'm lying, prove me wrong, and we'll go from there. I don't know if we have, I don't think we have any chats going, but, oh, Patrick, oh, hey, man, thank you for being there, commenting, giving thumbs up, all that stuff's awesome, thank you. Kind of just wanted to throw this out here. I'm probably going to get a couple of videos out this week because the wife and the kid are down taking a vacation, so I got nothing to do but when I come home to talk to all of you. But back to Saul Alvarez there, Canelo. Yeah, he's fighting, so we got to give him credit for that. But his quality of opponents and stuff like that, You can kind of see now he learned a little bit from Mayweather maybe, and he's like, I think I've fought enough to where I can go ahead and kind of pick and choose who I'm going to fight from here on in. Because while he's at super middleweight, yeah, it's a test for him. He is going to technically be fighting bigger guys. But usually with the bigger guys come the more knockouts. And when he's fighting guys like a Callum Smith, or he's fighting, soon to be fighting Billy Joe Saunders, these guys aren't the punchers. They're not the bringers of pain, in a sense, that you would like to see in that super middleweight division. You know, there are no big names anymore, in a sense, in that super middleweight division. He needs to head back down to the middleweight division if he really wants to cement himself as one of the biggest, one of the greatest fighters of all time. You know, he's a great fighter. I'll give him that. But he's going to start getting marked a little bit. You know how you look back at a fighter like Calzaghe, and people are like, oh, he's ducking everybody, and then finally Calzaghe's like, all right, who do you want me to fight? And he fought him and beat him up. Remember that? He did pretty damn good, you know. And people are like, "Oh, okay, Calzaghe's for real." But you're starting to look at with Saul Alvarez, and he's not fighting those the killers. You know what I'm saying? He's not going for that anymore. You look at the pull up the middleweight thing. Go off of BoxRec. I like to go off BoxRec. I'm not getting any payment from them or anything. I'm just saying, you know, looking at that. If I'm looking at that, why isn't he fighting like a Chris Eubank Jr.? Why isn't that fight happening? Why isn't he fighting a Jermall Charlo? Come on. You know you want to see that. You know that's the fight out of all of them that you would want to see. So I'm just saying, lucky bastard. Yeah, I get a little bit lucky there, you know. So, in looking at all that, you know, why isn't he fighting a Jermall Charlo? It's kind of scary to see fighters like that not taking on, you know, the true people that are going to test him, that are going to push him and drive him to that greatness, you know, where you can say a GOAT, right? You know, you look at, well, Thomas Hearns, I'm going old school on you now, and I apologize for that, but I'm old. You see the gray? Yeah, I got a lot of gray. But you look at like a Thomas Hearns, and he's going to go down as one of the all-time greatest fighters, right? Plus, he won a title in like 7 different divisions. So he's kind of got that going for him. But he fought the Leonard, he fought the Duran, he fought Hagler, he fought all these top names when he was fighting. He fought the best of the best in his division. Charlo and him, they're the same age. You see what I'm saying? Charlo's closer to a 70% knockout ratio, right? And Charlo's definitely a dangerous, very dangerous fighter. I don't know why the live chats don't show everything. Mayweather, Triple G, Kovalev. I know what you're saying when you're looking at that. He fought Mayweather. He got beat up by Mayweather. And Mayweather, in a sense, at that point in Mayweather's career, he was like, I can fight this kid who's like 41-0 at the time, and, you know, get that win over a fantastic and absolutely amazing up-and-coming fighter, right? Because that was, God, I don't even know, 5, 6, 7 years ago? How long ago was the Mayweather fight when you look at that? You know, I mean, I could pull it up and try and look and find, you know, where Saul Alvarez fought Mayweather. Where was that? Oh, my God, 13! Holy crap! That was so long ago. I'm so old. That's like 7.5 years ago? That was, oh, God, so old. Oh. Time ain't on my side anymore, man. So 7.5 years ago, 37.5, you know, quick math there, 22.5 years old. You know, so he fought a kid, you know, Mayweather did. So I mean, if you're saying that, okay, Triple G, we look at Triple G, and we go to Triple G there, and now Triple G is like, he's closer to 40 than he is 35, isn't he? Yeah, he's 38 years old. So Triple G's getting up there when you start talking the middleweights and stuff. This isn't a Bernard Hopkins whose style is this defensive mastery and stuff, where Bernard was able to fight later in his career by that. Another great middleweight champion, coming up and through. Who else was named there? And then you said Sergey Kovalev. And Lord only knows what was going on with Kovalev when he fought him at light heavy. I mean, that's a crazy, thing there. Yeah, Canelo's been going forever, man. I was following and talking about Canelo. In fact, just throwing this out here, I did a little thing of, what do they call it? I used to do a prospect perspective, right? I got a video where I did Saul Alvarez 9 years ago. Was it 9 years ago? Yeah. I was hip to that dude a long time ago. Anyway, back when I did videos. But, so, I mean, really, I want to do more videos. But at the same time, when I look at that and everything that goes on, it's kind of, when I put out a video, I put a lot of time and effort in research and studying those videos, and even in my prime, when I was putting out videos, what I would consider all the time, I was still only putting out maybe 2 or 3 videos a week. Is Canelo still taking the? So skills undeniable, but he's already been busted. I would have to do more research on Canelo for that. Thank you for bringing that up. That is something definitely check out, because he's on a bit of a smaller frame. When you look at him size-wise, he's not like this massively broad person to be carrying that much weight, and to be able to go up and down and fluctuate in weight like that, but still keeping the muscle, the vascularity kind of thing. Usually, hey, thanks, Alex. When you're looking at all that stuff with Alvarez, I made a bad comment the other day, and I need to get away from it and just call it what it is. But, you would hear people say Mexican supplements, and you knew when you heard that they were talking about steroids. But maybe not say Mexican anymore, just say steroids, or performance enhancing PEDs kind of thing and stuff. Let's get away from that stuff that, as the Mexican was right next to me, they were Mexican. They were like, "Hey man, maybe just say steroids." And I was like, that sounds like the proper thing to do, bro. I apologize, But yeah, if you're starting to look at the PEDs and going up and down, and that could be a scary thing for him to get into, especially once you test positive, because you're always going to have that hanging over your head. That's never going to leave. So once you get popped, man, you can't stop. 99.99% of boxers are on something. Man, I knew a lot of fighters that weren't on anything. I mean, they might have been on weed. Does that count? I don't know if weed could be considered a performance-enhancing drug. They would use that to calm down, to be able to relax more, for the healing properties and stuff like that from weed, taking down the inflammation and stuff like that. So it was kind of, but I didn't know many. Well, a dude liked to party after he won a fight or something like that. Enhances your mind. That's right. Takes you to a different place. Makes you start questioning things. Wondering what's going on. All right, Chicano Prophet. Hey, how's it going, man? So if there are other things that you guys want to talk, because like for me, I'm looking at these fights. Did I ever have a fight? I never fought professional, but I've been punched in the face by professionals. If that makes any sense at all. Uh, Manning Galloway he had just won the WBO welterweight title. He punched me in the face quite a few times. uh, Chad Van Sickle, you can look these guys up on BoxRec. I sparred him quite a few times. Ryan Coyne, the Irish Outlaw, I've been punched in the face by him. Uh, you start thinking about some of the guys that Michael Cold-Blooded Clark. I knew him as DMC, Dirty Michael Clark, and that was back in the day. But he's man, I don't know. I think that crazy sumbitch is still fighting. I apologize for cursing. I didn't mean to. But well, I never had a professional fight. I sparred a lot of pros and stuff, and that was always, you don't get this good looking by not getting punched in the face. But I'm starting to look out there, and I want to see fights that make me want to put out a big video. Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Man, I will put a video out. I will do a live feed. I might buy that damn fight and I can talk about it. I won't be able to show it because, I'll get sued. I haven't done a Billy Joe Saunders Canelo yet. I will look into that, and fine. I'll put that video out. I could almost give my prediction right now, but I'll do it. I'll put in the work, and I'll rewatch fights again and all of that and stuff. This last fight, I don't think I'll learn anything at all from Canelo because he was fighting a by far inferior opponent, and I don't think that guy was able to push him or test him. So, and if he did, that's not good. Let me look at the live chat here and see if I've missed any of you guys. Hey, Mr. Howard. Go through. Okay. I think I've caught up with everybody that's watching, and thank you for smashing that like button there. That's always good. Kind of lets say, hey, the big dude's running his face again. But I'm really wishing for the best people to fight. Do you think? Okay, so here, the scary thing you get into when you start talking about fighters, like we'll go with Billy Joe, and you start saying that they fight down to the level or they fight up to the level. It's kind of that's a very scary thing, because there could come a time where they're not able to raise that level. You know what I mean? It's kind of like with Mayweather. Mayweather never fought down to anyone's level. He would pick you apart. He would embarrass you. He would do other things, but he never fought down to their level. He might purposely carry you a couple extra rounds. Conor McGregor. He might carry you a couple extra rounds, to show how good he is, kind of thing. Ballooning in weight, as you say there, Alec, that is never good. Fighters that balloon up in weight and come down takes a lot out of the system and stuff like that. But I mean, the guy, he's undefeated. That's the one thing that we can say. And when we look at a Billy Joe Saunders, his blowing up and going down again, and him still able to do that, eventually that catches up with you. The Ricky Hatton method. Oh, that dude, man. Oh, I love Ricky, man. That dude, he's the people's champ. That guy would go out, blow up to almost like 200 pounds, and then somehow he's back down to 140, and you're like, how does this even happen? That was a great thing there that you would see with him. But watch out with that Billy Joe Saunders. If that is the case that he gets into it, he's 31. And you're going to start seeing the metabolism definitely plays into that. As you get older, that weight doesn't come off you near as easy. It gets on you real easy, but being able to take it off is a whole nother world. And I if he's one of those up downers, I mean, we look at it. I mean, he's had his title for quite a while, and he's defended it quite a few times. I mean, quite a few times. He took out. Oh man, that Andy Lee fight, that was a pretty good one. Chris Eubank, I would like. Why haven't they fought again? Why aren't these fights happening? Anyway. But Billy Joe, kind of, went up in weight, and Eubank has stayed at the middleweight level. But come on, man, the going up and going down in weight. He is a bit of a no. He's only 5'11", so he's like my height. Lemieux, okay. The thing with Lemieux, if anybody remembers this, back in the day, David Lemieux, he was like, what, 32 and 1 or something ridiculous with a crazy amount of knockouts. Like, he literally had, so many knockouts in a row. I wanted to look and say at one point in time, he was like 25 and 0 with 24 knockouts. And that's what he was known for. He was just knocking everybody out left and right. Marco Antonio Rubio waxed him. And it showed that if you could take a punch, you could basically whoop this dude. Because every fighter, Triple G knocked him out. Billy Joe did knock him out. The punchers knocked him out. The boxer guy, so we know Billy Joe Saunders can take a punch. But David Lemieux, when you looked at him, one, he was more of a shorter, kind of a shorter guy. He's around that 5'9". He had the shorter reach, and it seemed like his arms were like tree stumps, and when he would hit dudes, they'd go to sleep. But he fought a lot of bums coming up. And I think I talked about this a lot, where he fought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He had to go to his 7th fight before he even fought somebody that had a winning record. And he was still fighting bums, going up into his 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 fights. Did I do a prospect perspective on him? I might have. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But, yeah, he beat David Lemieux. And David Lemieux lost to every big fighter that he ever fought. The now or never for Billy Joe Saunders is absolute fact. This is, if Saul Alvarez is not a super middleweight. I don't believe he is. I don't think he'll ever be. I don't think that's his thing. I think the middleweight is where it's at for him, for his height, for his build, and all of that. His Kovalev fight, he was faster than Kovalev. Kovalev's style was perfect for Saul Alvarez's style, much like the Callum Smith. I did that fight. I did put out a video for that one, didn't I? I'm pretty sure I did. And, that fight went very much like I thought it would with that. And, a lot of the fighters, unfortunately, are tailor-made for Saul Alvarez's style. And Billy Joe, he's going to have to, the height, he doesn't have a lot of, he doesn't really have, well, he does. Pretty much any super middleweight's going to have a height advantage on Saul Alvarez. Because Alvarez is not tall. It's like 5'8", 5'8.5" maybe. You get a half-inch on me, try to squeeze it in there. But it is a win or go broke, in a sense, for a fighter like Billy Joe Saunders. And, okay, fine, I'll do that video. Probably throw some desperation in or something, on that. Keep refreshing this live chat and see if anybody else is saying anything. Why isn't the Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua fight happened yet? What's going on with that? Why I haven't heard Anthony Joshua yelling and screaming for that fight. I mean, there's a reason for that. We all know the reason. You know, once you fight Fury, man. Has Deontay Wilder had a fight since he fought Fury? Anybody? Do we know if he fought anybody? I'll check real quick. You know, just you know, see what's up there with the old bronze bomber there. I don't think he has. I know he's made a lot of excuses as to why he's not fought. You think it's June? And is June the is that going to be the Fury? Don't make me happy, man. Don't get me all excited. Okay. Wilder was supposed to be fighting Charles Martin, but it fell through. Okay. Okay, Andy. Thank you for that. And yeah, Fury Joshua in June. Okay, I'm not seeing it yet. They haven't made it official yet, maybe? Is that what's going on there? Is that why we're not seeing Anthony Joshua? Fury, it's not on their little thing there, giving you the hey, this fight's gonna happen. No, he beat up Pulev. We knew that was gonna happen. That wasn't a big shock, but we gotta see the fights, man. So June, how soon do I make the Fury Joshua video then? You know, you make it too early. You know, I always tried to stay away from that because I would get excited and I would put out a video 2 or 3 months before the fight would happen, and because it's boxing, yeah, you never know until they're on the ring. Yeah, until they're walking down to the ring, you don't know if the fight's going to happen, right? Dude could pop for drugs before the fight. Who knows? You know, or injuries happen and all that stuff. So I always tried to make the videos within no earlier than a month before the fight would happen, because you lose out on so much. You know, you're trying to be as accurate as you can in the stuff, and you know, things happen in training camp. Joshua says June in new video today. All right, Mr. Howard. See how that's going. You know, so I'll look for that video then, and you know, we'll have to look at May then. I'll put that video out. But man, you know, give us the fight. You know, I mean, Joshua against Deontay Wilder. That would be a better. That would be a cracking fight, man. I could, you know, but you know, Joshua ain't got that chin like Fury's got, right? I mean, Ruiz tested that chin well, and you know, so you got to worry about that. And is Joshua going to be full on the supplements when he fights Fury? You know, if he comes in there at the high 250s, maybe pushing 260, because he knows Fury's going to be 280 in that fight, you know, and really imposes will on him. Is that, you know, is he going to come in at the heavier weight? Because if he comes in at the heavier weight, he's going to be slower, markedly slower. And Fury is a crazy slick boxer, right? And wait, nope, you tried to sucker me into giving the whole thing right now, didn't you? You want me to break the fight down right now? No, we're holding off, man. We're holding off. Just stop talking about the fight, man. Eduardo, I told you. Anyway, that oh, I can't wait, dude. I'm so stoked for that fight. Can't wait for that fight to happen. So, what other fights are you all looking forward to seeing? I mean, is there any real fight out there? I mean, I want to see Saul Alvarez fight Jamal Charles. Charlo. I want to see that fight. Yeah. I mean, I want to see some serious cracking going on in that. And I just don't know if that is something that is going to happen, you know, because it seems like he's more into the super middleweight division, which I think he's, you know, he could probably hang out there for quite a while because he's already beat the number 3 and when he beat or actually the number 2 Callum Smith is still the number 2 ranked super middleweight in the world, and now he's going against Billy Joe Saunders, who I believe is the number 3 in the world in that division. Let me yeah. So I think that's the spot where we're going to see Alvarez just hanging out in, because he can pull the big fights. David Benavidez, I don't know. I mean, he's a young guy. He's 24. He's 23-0, 20 knockouts. You know, you like that. You got to love his height. You know, he's over 6'1". He's got a 77-inch reach. Whoo! You gonna see him? You gonna fight him? That dude's got an 87% knockout ratio. Is that gonna happen? Is he gonna fight Benavidez? You know, that would probably do a 2 million buy down in Mexico alone. You know, let alone you know, when you start looking at the world and everything. I mean, he knocked out Anthony Durrell. Jillian Love got smacked. I mean, yeah. I'm going to have to check this dude out even more, really to see how well he's doing, you know, because admittedly, he started out like most beginning fighters do, and he had about the first 10 fights. He fought a lot of bums in them, so he's built his record up. And he's just now, you know, the Anthony Durrell, that was a big win. Angulo, that was okay. That was a good one. You know, so he's starting to step up his game now, and he's really starting to fight the stronger, the tougher fighters. And in there, you know, he's not getting as many knockouts. We'll see. He's got a fight coming up against Ronald Ellis. Okay. So, you know, maybe that's a dude that I would like to see. Yeah, I would like to see him fight him. Absolutely. DeAndre Ware, that's your only loss? Okay. What do we got? Check out this chat. Ryan Garcia. Tank Davis? Oh, man. Oh. See, that Ryan Garcia. Oh, King Rye, right? These are little dudes. It's hard for me to judge the little guys. But I'll tell you this, and I've always stood by this. Been good, man. Been good. Yes. With Ryan Garcia, when you start looking at the lightweights, you know, literally, I mean, you're talking the 100 and, what is it, 118? No, lightweight, 130? Anyway, when you start talking in those lower weights, you start having a lot less knockouts, right? Because it's hard to generate power when you're that small. You just don't have enough ass behind you to really do it. And then this Ryan Garcia dude, you know, at lightweight, how are you 5'10" with a 70-inch reach? That's short. That's kind of a short reach for 5'10". Just throwing that out there. You know, at 5'10", you would like to see 72 or up at 5'10" for actually having a decent reach and stuff. And at 5'10", but my God, when you start seeing, you know, he's at 86% knockout ratio, and possibly going up against a Tank Davis, and you start looking at that. Let's see. See, what is it at? There's a lot of Davises and stuff. Let's see. He's gonna be. What's his? What's Tank Davis's first name? By the way, does anybody know that? I hate when I just remember, like, you know, their their nicknames and stuff, you know. But Tank Davis is a very Gervonta Davis. Stupid. God, man. I like Gervonta Davis. Tank. How do I not know his name? Anyway, I would think that they got to be on a crash course, because you're looking at somebody's getting knocked out in that fight. That's the reality of it. When you're looking at a 95%, 96% knockout ratio, that's a historic level. That's also what David Lemieux was around before he started fighting really good fighters. So, you know, and we see where David Lemieux is. Tank is going to struggle a bit because he's only, you know, 5'6", 5'5.5". And when you start Mayweather student, oh damn, Mayweather doesn't mess around with losers though, does he? You know, if there's one thing, if he's going to put his backing behind somebody and stuff like that, you know, he's looking at winners. You know, that's what he's about. You look at his reach, almost 68-inch reach at his height, at 5'6". So he's going to break your body off at that height. I mean, you're not going to hit him. He just going to squat down. He's going to be able to reach that body with them hooks and his straight shots. I wouldn't want that. He is a little tank running around, just all tanking on people. Knocked out Gamboa. Fonseca. He knocked out Fonseca. I mean, well, he's basically knocked out pretty much everybody, right? You want to try and go, who's the one dude who survived and who made it? German Miraz. A dude that had fought like 8 billion fights, you know, and was able to not get knocked out by Tank. And you start seeing, you know, he took Pedraza's O. He took Walsh's O. You know, he took Francisco Fonseca's O. You know, he's taking a lot of dudes' O's, man. And you look at it, and he carries his power late as well. Well, with Gamboa knocking him out like that, the Santa Cruz knockout was, dude, yeah. I mean, he hits people and it changes them, you know, and watching what he does, you know. And the fact that these guys still get back up, you know. But the danger of him is he misses weight. Hey, what's up, Dalton? You know, so we're talking, you know, with Gervonta Davis going up and, and fighting Ryan. I would pay a lot of money for that. Ryan Garcia, you know, to see him fight Garcia. My God. That's a weight class that I think right now is probably the absolute most stacked. I would put it up against any weight class there is that lightweight division. When you're looking at Teofimo Lopez, Gervonta Davis, Vasily Lomachenko, Garcia. I mean, you know, my God, you know, yeah, friggin' Linares is still hanging around, that old sucker, man. I would pay to watch that fight. That would definitely be a big one. Hold on here, Jafar Sabir. Hey, if I said your name wrong, number one, I want to apologize right now. Number two, I was getting a master's degree. My daughter, you know, she's now 8, you know, but I devoted all my time, you know, with her and stuff. Didn't really do that, you know, and the videos and talking on here, you know, really take a lot of time if you're going to put in the effort to do them. Does that make sense? So if I was doing 3 videos a week, I was not only shooting the video, and I didn't edit my videos. You guys know that. It was a one-shot take. We went from beginning to end. There was no cut and paste. You got it raw. You got it right there. And yeah, sure, I'd go off on tangents, but so you would have that, and then the hours upon hours or whatever for each video. So I'd have 12 hours a week in 3 videos or so, and when you got a little one, it's kind of hard to do. And if you're taking a master's program while working full time and all that, it just kind of, all of that kind of got me out of it. I mean, I still watched and stuff because I'd be sneaking on a computer with headphones, because kid would be asleep, wife would be asleep, and I'm watching the fights. Because why are the main fights always on at midnight now? What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? Ooh wee. But so we'd have that. But yeah, God, I would watch any of those fights. Can you imagine the Lopez Davis fight? That would be off the charts. I mean, that people really want to focus on that heavyweight division for as awesome as seeing big guys punch each other in the face is. But you really you got what, maybe 4 top heavyweights that you want to see fight. If you definitely want to see Fury fight. You want to see Joshua fight, but with Joshua, who do you want Joshua to fight? Fury. When you talk about Deontay Wilder, who do you want Deontay Wilder to fight? Well, Joshua. Joshua doesn't want to fight Wilder. He wants to fight Fury. So really, you only have 3 fighters or 3 heavyweights that you're really focused on. Every top heavyweight that comes in or comes around, you're like, okay, I'm going to get behind this guy, and then he gets exposed, and he's not really that good. How is Povetkin still the number 4 ranked heavyweight in the world? Dude's 41. And I know you're going to look at my old videos and where I talked about Klitschko and them. Their fighting style was different. They were a lot bigger than what Povetkin is. Usyk. Okay, so Usyk coming up, right? He's a cruiserweight coming up. And, we're kind of getting excited about him like maybe we were with are we as excited about him as we were with David Haye? David Haye dominated the cruiserweight and everything, and then came up into the heavyweight division. There was another cruiserweight that came up, Polish guy, I think. He's really, really tough dude. And we were like, oh, this guy might be something. And turned out, he wasn't. He was game. He was a good fighter, but he just got punched a lot. So he was a lot like a stepping stone fighter. How is Helena still fighting? I don't understand. Man, I'm seeing dudes that I did videos on. Wilder definitely needs to get back in the ring. And they were talking just recently. Apparently, he had a fight that fell through and didn't happen to him. Is he working on his defense? Is he working on boxing or learning how to box? I think that's the biggest thing with, if we're looking at Deontay Wilder, is he taking the steps that he needs to get better? Because he's already a master at throwing that right hand, right? We've seen it knock out 40-some people. We've seen it happen. But he doesn't know how to box. The blessing and curse of that right hand was the fact that he touched you and you went to sleep. So he kind of lapsed on his boxing ability. He could always count on that right hand coming from nowhere and taking you out. And then Fury showed, well, one, if I keep distance, you're in trouble. And if I close ranks on you and I don't give you that opportunity to uncork it, because that reach is so long, he needs you at a certain distance. Fury's able to get out of that distance and still hit, because Fury's reach goes from here across the pond. In fact, if Fury threw a jab right now, he might punch me in the eye. Just saying. I mean, I don't want him to, but I would take it as long as he would autograph it. I don't know, that's stupid. But, you know, I mean, so many knockouts, so many things that he did, you know, came through. But it seemed like after that loss, he fell apart, didn't he? There are fighters like Joshua, lost to Ruiz, and said, oh, I took it too light. I did this. He fired Breland. Oh, yeah. Manuel Stewart he's one of the greatest trainers of all time. With Kronk. Which is where Tyson Fury is now. He's got a Kronk trainer. You thought Fury was a bad boy when he beat up Wilder. He's going to be flat out dangerous in his next fight. I bet the farm on it. Bet for an earlier knockout than what you think. You're like, oh, I think, Dom's going to go 9 or 10. Ragu's saying 9 or 10. Nah, bro, I'll say 6. I might say 5. But, yeah, and Emmanuel's training got passed down, and he had some great guys in his stable, on his team, that are carrying on that Kronk tradition strong and proud. So, anybody that's getting trained by the former, the Kronk fighters, that's going to be it. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Thank you for that, Jafar. So, what else are we talking about? I've been on here 47 minutes just running my face. He fired Breland. Wilder, oh, nah, he's in trouble, man. Breland did him a favor. Breland should have called that fight off the round prior. Sup, AAA. Seeing that, what Fury was doing to him, was doing, wasn't good. Hey, I'm doing good, AAA. Glad you hopped on there, decided to spend some time. What time is it here? It's almost 6 o'clock at night. So the dogs are looking at me and they want to get fed. 6:10. Actually, it's 6:10. So it's dinner time. It's time to eat. I don't miss them meals. I don't miss the meals. But yeah, if with Wilder, like you said, when there's trouble all of a sudden in the corner, and the person in his corner is a quality guy, now you're looking for excuses, and they made all those excuses. Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm still here. I still work. Been 14 and a half years now. I've been at the same place. Went from one-on-one to teacher. One-on-one, then I was an assistant. Now I'm the teacher. So, it's good. These kids are stuck with me. But, when we start looking at Deontay Wilder and everything, they started throwing out every excuse they had in the book. His thing was too heavy. His shoulder pads that he walked down to the ring with were too heavy. They weren't made of iron. They weren't steel. It's like a cast of something. Like you don't put that on and you're telling me that you put something on for 10 minutes and it exhausts you so bad that you can't do it. It wasn't the extra weight that you were already carrying to the ring. He fought at the heaviest he'd ever been, to go in there and try it, because he got pushed around and he got flat out beat up that last round, against Fury, so, at the end. So, Let's see what we got. But yeah, so user Senvile. Um, um, do I think we'll ever see the short like Mike Tyson heavyweight again? I don't know, man. I think those days might be gone because I mean we've got right now a guy that's 6'9". I think the you could start seeing, and I did a video where I was talking about the heights of the heavyweights and how the height and weights have changed over the decades, and you gradually saw this increase. And Lennox Lewis, I think, was the one where it was finally like, oh, the day of the short dude is over. Because if you think about it, as great as Mike Tyson was, when he fought Buster Douglas, and we had kind of ideas ahead of that fight that he was going to struggle with that taller boxer. And what we're seeing now in the heavyweight division is like an unprecedented boxing skill and ability. And I know what I'm getting ready to say is almost blasphemous, so bear with me when I say this. But if you put on a tape of Muhammad Ali and you put on a tape of Tyson Fury, I know some of you are like, you've lost your mind. Look at their style. Look how they move. Look how they slipped around and did all the stuff. Still got the hits. Still made the guys look stupid. And the only difference is Tyson Fury's 7 inches taller and 55 pounds heavier. So if we're looking at that, and would we ever see that short, stocky heavyweight back? I don't think so. But I'm just throwing this out here. If the guy is 6'3" and weighs like 260 pounds of rock muscle, I'm not talking. I'm not talking Anthony Joshua fighter, okay? Anthony Joshua's an athlete. He's not that fighter. He's not that granite head, chin dude looking guy in the gym where you're like, I don't want that guy to hit me. You know what I mean? I don't want to fight that guy because I know he truly has that it factor. And I think if there was like a 6'3" dude, maybe 6'2", maybe. But there you're getting, you're starting to talk about reach and distance and all that. If you got a good fighter that can keep distance and keep pump that jab out, you're going to struggle mightily with it. So I guess in the big picture, I would say no. Do I think it would never happen? I can't say that either. But I think the bigger heavyweight is here to stay. And we've noticed they just keep getting bigger. I mean, Tyson Fury, 6'9". Deontay Wilder, 6'7". Anthony Joshua, 6'6", right? You looked at the Klitschko's, they were 6'6", 6'7". You look at any of the big heavyweights, they're all 6'6" or bigger. And they're all 240 plus. So I don't know if the little guy can do it anymore. The days of seeing, like when Rocky Marciano. Every time somebody talks about heavyweight, somebody bring up Rocky Marciano. But he was 180 pounds. And he's fighting dudes, but the guy's he wasn't fighting legit 6'6" athletes like they are today. It wouldn't transfer. His style wouldn't transfer to today's. So I think that day is gone. Where we see the shorter guy. Fury, when you look at him, Fury, it's hard because Fury doesn't fight standing straight up. He doesn't have that rigid spine, that dwarfing demeanor. He crunches down just that little bit and then hits you from 28 feet away, and, because he's moving his head, you got to be a little, you can't stand straight up and have the body movement. You just can't do it. You got to get down. You got to be a little loose to be able to swing around, to get the movement going. To get, get in and get out. You can't be straight up going in and back. And ultimately, that was kind of like what was the demise of the Klitschko's and stuff like that. They did it for so long, but they were more upright, whereas Fury got that little crick. No idea who will win between Fury and Joshua. Nope, I'm not going to say it. That's the third time. I almost took the bait. You almost hooked me in. I almost started talking about the fight. I said I'm going to wait till May to really give my prediction video on that. I'm going to, I'll do a deep dive. Might even go down a rabbit hole or two. And, maybe I'll bring up, the mental state of Fury and see where Fury is and stuff like that. I'll throw that in for a little sprinkles, scoop, and we'll see how that goes. All right. Any other questions, right quick? I'm getting ready to. I'm going to hop off here because I've been on almost an hour. Let's see what we got. I think we talked about everything. Definitely want to see the Ryan against Tank. That's a fight that has to happen, right? Gervonta Davis. I mean, that fight has to happen, right? I mean, the money would be there. I think that's the one thing that we're all talking about. And we're all going to pay money to see the Joshua, a Fury fight, or to see the Fury Joshua fight. That's how I think it'll be built. Now, who will get top billing in that? Because Fury, Joshua has the majority of the titles. So does he get top billing? Does his name go first? Or they do it alphabetical? They go by height? I don't know. They go by who's undefeated? I'll ask you guys right now. I'll ask all of you out there. Who do you think is the number one heavyweight in the world? Who deserves that top billing if they fight? Who's going to get the lion's share of that contract? When they sign it, who's going to get paid more? I'm just throwing that out there. Who do I think it is? You asking me? All right. Okay. Mike Tyson fighting again. Fighting David Tua. Wow. That would be crazy. Because Tua's still like 10 years younger than Tyson, right? If we're looking at David Tua. But let's be honest. Those fights that we saw, like with him and Roy Jones Jr., they're capitalizing on something. And what are they capitalizing on? They're capitalizing on the fact that we don't have the massive, that star power in boxing right now, and in the heavyweight division. We have Tyson Fury, who I think is going to go down as one of the greats. Just getting that out there. When it's all said and done, whether or not he beats Joshua, I don't know. I'm not. You'll know in May. It's already March. Man, we're getting close. But with Mike Tyson and doing the sparring matches and stuff, right? And I use that lightly because I think that was really that was more like a money grab than anything I've ever seen. And Roy Jones wanted nothing to do with Tyson once they got in there. He might have felt something and was like, yeah, I'm just gonna try and run. you know. And so looking at it that way, and seeing seeing what's going on with that, I I mean, yeah, maybe he would. Evander Holyfield has come out and said that he is getting back into training. I don't know how long it took him to say that whole sentence when he said it. You know, I don't know how many takes they had to do. But even Evander Holyfield said he would be open to getting in the ring with Mike Tyson and sparring or whatever. Of course, because getting in the ring with Tyson means you're going to get paid. And, you know, I don't think David Tua is a big enough name to pull that off. Roy Jones Jr., man, they're pulling all of us. You know, he's reaching and getting anybody from 30 years old to 60, right? They know, boxing fans know Roy Jones Jr. And from 30 to the end of time, know Mike Tyson. So that was it's really just a money grab. And I'm not a fan of those fights. I'm not a fan of the Logan Paul. Is that a dude? Is that his name? Who are we talking about in prison? I don't know. Who's in prison? I don't know. Ike Ibuchi. Oh my God! I don't think Ike's out of prison. I think Ibuchi. Oh my God! He was a killer, man. That was a bad choice of words. He was a devastating fighter. You know, Ike Ibuchi was frightening. That dude had watch his fights. You know, he had that bad boy thing, you know. Is Ike Ibuchi out of jail? He was in a long time. How long was he in for? It was a long time. I don't know how long he was in. I just know he was in for a long time. He was a frightening dude, you know. That guy, I mean, when he hit people, he changed people too, you know. 20-0, 15 knockouts. Never fought again. When did he completed his 16-year prison sentence without incident? So he's been out for 6 years now. He's 48 years old. But I would see that. I'd pay $5. You know, I'd pay $5 to see that fight. I'm not paying, what was it, $80 to see that fight? Nah, man. But yeah, Tyson Tua, Tyson Ike Ibuchi, I would have loved to have seen them fought in their prime. I mean, we saw Tua and Ibuchi fight, but, you know, I mean, Tyson fighting Ibuchi, Tyson fighting Tua. I think that would have been an amazing times. It's just so sad that, you know, with Tyson, you know, being, you know, and knowing his story and, you know, his, you know, with the Customato, you know, once he lost that rock, you know, to see that slow downward descent of Tyson happening, you know, with, you know, getting rid of Rooney, getting rid of, oh my God, I've been punched in the head too many times. You know, his getting rid of all his trainers. James Tony Bernard Hopkins. Yeah, Tony went up to heavyweight, didn't he? Tony, like... James Tony. Lights out. He was a hell of a fighter, man. You know, you look at it, I mean, he was an homage to the old school fighter. Him and Bernard Hopkins. The problem with Tony is very similar to me. We both like to eat. It is very hard to stay 160 pounds when you enjoy food. I mean, even with training and stuff, if you look at his build, and he had the broader shoulders. Bernard Hopkins had a very slender build overall. Obviously the shoulders and everything pop out over time because you're a boxer. That's your thing. You're gonna get good shoulders and stuff. But when you look at Hopkins' legs, Hopkins' waist, he's a very much more slender guy. You're looking at James Toney, and that dude, I mean, he literally almost like went from middleweight to light heavy overnight, in a sense. And he has fought at weights as high as like 248 pounds was Toney. His last fight, Mike Shepard, he was 248. He had fought at 250, lost to Lucas Brown. Oh my God. Why? 257. Jesus. Yeah. So that kind of robbed us of a thing. But see, Toney, and this is going to tie back into Roy Jones Jr. Well, you look at what Roy Jones Jr. did, and Jr. was the one that kept stepping up, right? Yeah, and Toney was always small for his weight classes in a sense. I mean, he was 5'10", so it's not like he was a diminutive man until he got into the light heavyweight and up. That's when you're starting to get those solid 6-footers on average, kind of fighters. But so Toney was great for the middleweight division at 5'10". He had the 72-inch reach. Remember, I said 72 or more, and so that was a great division for him. And then he was chasing, though. And I think that's where you saw it come in when we're talking about Roy Jones. And, chasing that star that was Roy Jones Jr. And with Roy Jones Jr., coming in and everything that he did, it was kind of like he was always chasing, that star. He wanted to be on Roy Jones Jr.'s level. But the problem with that is, and the reality is there's only one Roy Jones Jr. There's only one of them guys ever. And it was, I don't know. It was, let's look. I mean, he fought a lot of bums at the end of his career. Kind of, well, Enzo Maccarinelli, he smacked him. But you looked and you saw him jump up. God, that was 2000s, wasn't it? What are you guys doing to my brain? Okay, so he was always down there, I mean, whacking out everybody in the 90s, and stuff like that. He got the unanimous decision over Bernard Hopkins. And after that, he basically went up to the 167 because B-Hop was kind of the standard, right? I mean, B-Hop had only had that one loss. I think that was like his first pro fight that he lost in. And wasn't it? Yeah, okay. B-Hop lost his first pro fight. The Klitschko's. Do I know any professional boxers? Do I know them anymore? I don't know if I know any guys fighting anymore. I've been out of the game for that one. I mean, the most recent, Michael Clark was fighting till recently. Ryan Coyne. No, Ryan Coyne. He was fighting Irish Outlaw. He was fighting pretty recently. Chad Van Sickle had been fighting fairly recently. But most of the guys, I mean, I'm old, dude. I'm 47. So I'm not around. I'm not, I haven't been punched in the face in a long time. You know what I mean? I've had students try. They didn't succeed, but they gave it a shot. But, you know, so I got sidetracked. But B-Hop and all them, and we look at that. Tony roided is not, yeah. Yeah. Well, Tony was trying to become that, that the solid cruiserweight, solid heavyweight kind of thing. Roy Jones Jr., again, absolute freak of an athlete. Scored over 20 points in a professional basketball game and then had a title fight later. Alan, thank you for hanging out for a little bit. I know I said I was going to leave, and it's like 14 minutes later because you guys got me talking about Roy Jones Jr. and James Toney and all that stuff, and I'm just glad that, a lot of those guys, like Roy Jones, was able to finally, have his fight against Bernard Hopkins, and Bernard Hopkins was able to move up to light heavy and get his rematch, which I always thought he deserved. I was a big Bernard Hopkins fan. He may not be a fan of me, but I'm a fan of his. Do I still train? I don't have moved houses, so I don't have a heavy bag set up anymore. But when the weather's nice, I built a speed bag stand. So I hit the speed bag a little bit, and so I do that. What do guys like James Toney, B-Hop, and McCall, what did they do? They had great trainers, and they had great work ethic. And they're genetically, blessed with a really good chin. I mean, there were a lot of factors there, but a lot of it was their work ethic again. Yeah. So yeah, as far as that, and then he just brought up a really good point there. I just saw it flash on the screen from Greg. Roy fought an endless list of bums in the late 90s. He did. He fought a lot of bums coming through. And that got the Tarver thing. And then, he wanted to try and prove himself against Joe Calzaghe. Remember that? And, he met the truth in that one. Calzaghe, I think a lot of people ducked him. I don't think Calzaghe ducked as many people as they thought, he did. I mean, Calzaghe beat, it was back in the day where, you remember when Left Hook Lacey was a big dude? And then he just got waxed by Calzaghe and embarrassed. And Peter Manfredo, I miss that guy. Mikkel Kessler, B-Hop, Roy Jones Jr. I mean, those three dudes in a row right there, I mean, you could retire on. That was a great run there. I know I got carried away and got off of that. Roy fought an endless list of bums. He did, man. He fought so many. He fought a lot of guys, but at the same time, he also beat a lot of the great. I'm not a robot. Why is this thing not letting me bounce around? He had Roy Jones, in his defense, one of the greatest fighters of all time. He cleared out the middleweight division. He went up. He cleared out the 167, and I think 167 was his. And if he had stayed in that, I don't think he ever would have lost. I think he should have stayed at the 167 and never left. Because once he got up into the light heavies, and then he went up, he fought light heavy for a long time, and then he eventually blew up into the heavyweight, well, the 190s and stuff. And once he did that, he was just never the same. He lost some stuff there because And I think I talked about this a long time ago. He was such an incredible athlete with the way he could move his body and do all that stuff. He never focused on a good defense. And in the old days, he could just move that little bit right there and your punch would miss completely. But with age and weight, that turned to that and it didn't get far enough and he would get clipped. And it kind of took him over. I think if he'd have stayed at 167, could he have? I don't know. I mean, he didn't look bad at 190 pounds. He was pretty slight. Maybe light heavy is where he should have stayed, but there were murderers there at that light heavy. You know, he had to go up and he had to go for the easy heavyweight, you know, fight for the title and stuff like that. You know, to try and get that easy title. Roy Jones moving up to heavyweight was the biggest mistake he ever made. But he wanted to chase that heavyweight money. Let's see, Greg, no one knew how good Calzaghe was until they realized no one could beat him. Yeah. And I'll throw this out here. People got lucky that Calzaghe's hands weren't stones. He has the same fate as like Mayweather does. There are some fighters where that, you know, the hits there, it would just break. You know, he broke his hands a few times, you know, and would fight fights with broken hands and just slap the shnikes out of people. You know, just find his broke, I'll just smack it. And, you know, he was so good, so fast. You remember when he put his hands behind his back? You know, it was like stuck his... Yeah, it was great. Yeah. A lot of times we're stuck with the old tape, and it really doesn't show. You miss the little nuance, you know, the little things that the guy can do or does to do it. But the great thing is we're seeing that with Tyson Fury. You know, he's kind of he's a throwback to that slick boxer, the moving around, a lot of head movement. Let's see. Who is the most skilled fighter? Oh, that's such a hard skill-wise. I mean, there's so many out there. Vasily Lomachenko, granted, he lost to Lopez, right? Teofimo Lopez. But I think Vasily Lomachenko, overall skill-wise, offense, defense, all of it together in one package. I mean, he is incredibly crazy skilled. Tyson Fury, incredibly skilled fighter. He's got a great defense. Okay. Our SG, right? I just saw this come on. And SGS. Love Calzaghe, but a washed-up Roy knocked him down. Well, here's the one thing you always have. The one thing you never lose is power is the last thing to go in a fighter. No matter how wiped out they are, no matter how washed up they may be, power is the last thing to go. And he got clipped. He got clipped by Roy, and he got up, didn't he? And then he put on that clinic. So, I mean, it's was he being cute and he got caught? Because I've seen that happen, too, with a lot of fighters. You know, they try and get too cute, and they get caught. Unfortunately, my buddy Michael Clark, that happened to a couple times. You know, where he got too cute. He was light years better than the guy that he fought, but yet, you know, he messed up and wind up getting lost. And then he just started taking fights for money, I think, maybe. I don't know. But, you know, yeah, Calzaghe knocked him down. That's true. Who was the guy that knocked down Leonard? Right? Who was the dude? Or the guy that knocked down Muhammad Ali? Remember that heavyweight? You know, they based Rocky off of? You know, that dude? You know, he's like, I knocked down Muhammad Ali or whatever. You know. or the guy that knocked down, who was it, Sugar Ray Leonard. He's like, I got you, and there's like, no. Still lost. Let's see what we got. Oh, Jack Dempsey in 4K? Yeah. So, yeah. But here's the problem. Aside from me drinking water. Marley Mars, how you doing? Chuck Wepner, yes. Chuck Wepner, I believe, fought Muhammad Ali. I believe I thought he knocked Muhammad Ali down. I could be wrong. It's been a long time. And he went, a really long time with Muhammad Ali. And, basically that was his entire life, the fact that he was able to do that. And I think they even did a story about Wepner as well. And they might even have a 30-30, ESPN 30-30 on him. Doing that. What else we got? Let's see. Yeah, Marley Mars, yeah. Dude, I'm glad you're still around. I'm glad. Yeah. Let's see. What channels do I follow on YouTube for boxing? I'll tell you. I'll give him. Want to throw this guy props. I will watch him when he talks about fights because I enjoy, commenting on his stuff and everything. Canine Bundridge. Cornelius Canine Bundridge. Go check out his channel. Say, hey, Ragu sent me. He's not going to know who I am. But just say that so occasionally when I go on his channel and type in, we talk in there. I think he does a really, really nice job. There's some channels of boxing. I kind of start watching him and I'm like, it's a bad habit of mine. I'll start watching him. I'm like, I think I could do better than that. And then I stop watching him. But K9, legit fighter, won titles, and he's there and he's talking about the fights. He knows what he's talking about, so I'll listen. I'm like, okay, yeah, I agree with that. Or I'll give my opinion on some stuff. And, but as far as channels, oh, Patrick Connor. Oh, okay. Patrick, if you're out there, say hey, and I'll give you my email or something, and we can do a Zoom thing or whatever, or however you do the thing. Let's do the thing. That could be cool. Yeah, I would like to get on here. It's been a little bit, hasn't it? It's been a couple months since I did it. Dylan White versus Povetkin 2. Do we want to see another Povetkin fight? I don't know. Do we? I don't know if I want to see another Povetkin fight. And Dylan White, while, had, I don't know, all the promise in the world, right? And you want to get behind him. Decent, he's still young for a heavyweight at 32. 6'4", 78-inch reach. I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, we're gonna see it, right? It looks like they got the fight. It's gonna be happening in March. We can talk about it. I don't know. I mean, you got knocked out by an old guy. 41-year-old Alexander Povetkin knocked you out. I mean, he had him hurt. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the fight's going to be live. It's going to be exciting. That could, so, okay, I'll give you that. It has that factor. When you watch that fourth round, you're like, oh, my God, how did he not get Povetkin out of there? And then the fifth round happened, right? That's why you fight. You fight till that bell. And, so looking at that, I guess, that could be one. Got White in that one. It's different when you know a guy has the power to knock you out. Huh. So you're going with the guy that got knocked out versus the guy that did the knocking out. I mean, how does that normally work when a guy gets knocked out and then they fight the dude next? And don't use Anthony Joshua Ruiz as your example. Man, get knocked out, if it's devastating, if it's a bad one, that uppercut was pretty nasty. And you're going to go with White. That's ballsy, man. That's a... Because getting knocked out could change you, right? We don't know. He hasn't had another fight since he got knocked out. And he's turning around White and fighting the dude that knocked him out. Now, one, he could say, you're right. I mean, White should have took him out in that fourth round. It didn't happen. Did he blow his... Did he knock all the gas out of the tank with that? Rockman Lewis? Yeah, maybe. Are we putting Dylan White on the level of Lewis? Rockman, I mean... Rockman had serious power. I mean, I think he was up there in the power. I could be wrong. And, hey, AAA, you bring up a great point. Povetkin is no Rockman, at least power-wise. That is true. Okay, so he's not as powerful as Rockman was, but he still knocked him out. Well, he's, dude was seeing stars, man. So how do you, if you got knocked out by a dude that isn't known as like a crazy hard puncher, an uppercut, though, you don't see those, and those are the worst. those suck so bad if you get caught by one. It's, like when you don't see it, those are the worst. At least one you see coming, you kind of get a little tensed up for. But when you don't see it, it's just devastating. You could be right, though. You look at Povetkin, like you pointed out a good thing, 32 versus a 41. There's a difference there. There's a legit difference in that one. Rockman Lewis, yeah, you're damn right. Lewis locked it down. He wasn't about to, let that haymaker, but that's the heavyweights, right? All it takes is that one punch. That's the great thing about it. Lewis did a great thing. Povetkin is getting older. Povetkin is 41. How good is Povetkin doing? The last thing that leaves is power, though, with the old guys. And you look at Povetkin, and he could take a punch, but, how well is he going to be doing? Couldn't beat Michael Hunter. So, it could be a live fight, man. Yeah, glad y'all brought that up. Might have to watch that one in March. 'Cause Lord knows I wasn't excited to see the first one. I was excited for Dylan White, and it hurt my soul a little bit, because here you got this younger guy. I mean, granted, he's 32, so technically, I mean, he's older than Tyson Fury, and he's older than I think he's older than Anthony Joshua too, if I'm not mistaken. But so with Dylan White, I was like, oh, this guy's going to be the guy, right? He's going to fight, he's going to fight Joshua. He's going to fight these guys. He's going to fight that guy, and then Povetkin. He lost to Povetkin, so it's like, Shit. So in boxing, unlike MMA, unlike any of the others, I mean, it could take him. He's going to have to clean the floor with Povetkin. Like, I mean, he is going to have to end that fight in the third round. You know what I mean? Like, leave no doubt that if, had he had done what he should have did in the fourth and finished Povetkin, leave no doubt, because he's going to have to fight another 3 or 4 times before he gets a title shot. You would think, but this is boxing and they'll just make up a title, right? I think they're fighting for some interim fake title as it is. Yeah, right. That's the thing. He was mopping the floor with him, but he still got knocked out. I mean, you bring up great points. But what happened? He let his guard down, got a little sloppy. The veteran caught him and did what he should do, take advantage of that, and, ends the fight. And, maybe that was a rookie. Can we call that a rookie mistake? He's got 27 fights, And we look, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Dylan White, he built his way all the way back up from that loss from Joshua. And he did all the right stuff. He was undefeated for 5 years. He had like 10 fights, didn't he? 11 fights, and he won every single one of those fights. And he beat decent guys. I mean, Joseph Parker was decent. Derek Chisora was a letdown. Oh, I had so much hope for him. Maruz Vach. Some of those guys, you're like, all right. They were good wins. I mean, not great, but they were good wins. And he had built himself up, and I said, yes, he should be getting that legit title shot, and then he goes for this side shot thing with the diamond heavyweight title or this interim title. So he's not really fighting one of the champions, and I think I might have set him back. Let's see. A lot of fights to look forward to this year, absolutely. All about Dylan's psychology. Yes, how is he going to come into it knowing, oh, this guy could knock me out, And is that going to get him fighting more on his back foot? Is he going to start fighting more on the back foot then? Is he going to make it more of a boxing thing and try and stay away from Povetkin, push the, force it later? Or is he just going to go in there and try and get him out? Like he was doing, Michael Hunter could be a top 5. Is that what I saw? Michael Hunter could be a top 5. Why didn't the live chat stay up? You think cruiserweight has some skills. I'll have to check him out more. For the knockout, mopping up the floor with Povetkin. Yep. Hubris of a fighter. When you have a guy hurt, you forget that he can catch you with that one that stops you. I mean, that's true. When you're going for broke, it happens. We've seen it. Diego Corrales Castillo fight. If you haven't seen that fight, you're doing yourself a disservice. Watch that fight. You'll see dudes hitting each other, like basically knocking each other out at the same time. Do I think Wilder will ever fight again? He hasn't, David. He hasn't fought since the Fury fight. However, there have been other fights that he's been kind of in, and it's just fallen out. But I don't know. To lose like he did, like to legit get the shite kicked out of him like he did, man, it's tough. And then you kind of got to fight him again, right? You need to have that trilogy. You got the win on him the first time. He thoroughly whooped that ass the second time. And now you got to go in against a dude that thoroughly whooped your ass, like beat you in every aspect of the fight. He wants to fight Fury, or not Fury, but Joshua, but I don't think Joshua wants any of that smoke. Yeah, Castillo Corrales, man. I'm telling you, they fought. Didn't they fight a couple times? Didn't they fight like 3 times? It doesn't matter. Fight, punch it in and watch all of them. Doesn't matter how many fights they had. All good. All great fights. I said I was leaving 40 minutes ago. All right. I will get to doing these more. What can I tell us? See who couldn't make weight. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to look in the next time when you're on Shelly Finkel. We'll talk about Shelly Finkel, my thoughts on that, and we'll talk about other fights. And hopefully I'm on before the next, I don't know, Fury Joshua fight that's going to happen in June. Well, I'll believe that when I see it, and when I put out the video in May, and hopefully that's earlier. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for hopping on. If you haven't already hit the like button, I guess that's a thing. Do that. If you haven't subscribed, I think everybody here is subscribed. Thank you for sticking around. It's only been like 28 years. All right. Well, anyway, Eduardo, you ready, bro? No, don't say anything. Yeah, I got it. Hey, Big Ragu, I'm out. Keep punching.